I'm 85, and I'm still happy. You won't believe why. My name is Florence. I am 85 years old, and I am happy, not pretending to be happy, not performing happiness for my children so they do not worry, not smiling through gritted teeth while quietly falling apart inside, genuinely, deeply, quietly happy. And when people hear that, they always look at me with this expression, somewhere between disbelief and suspicion, because I am 85, I live alone. My husband is gone. Most of my closest friends are gone. My body does not work the way it used to. I cannot do the things I used to do. By every measure that the world uses to calculate happiness, I should not be happy. And yet here I am, happy. So today I'm going to tell you why, and I promise you, it is not what you expect. My name is Florence, and this is my story. I grew up in a large family, 6 children, small house. Not much money, but never a quiet moment. My mother was a woman who laughed easily and cried easily and felt everything deeply. My father was steadier, quieter, but when he smiled, the whole room changed. I learned something important from watching the two of them together. I learned that happiness was not a destination. It was not something you arrived at after enough struggle and enough achievement and enough sacrifice. It was a practice, a daily decision, a way of moving through the world. My mother used to say, Florence, happiness is not something that happens to you. It is something you do every day. I was young when she said that, and I did not fully understand it. I thought happiness was about circumstances. I thought if the circumstances were right, if enough good things happened and enough bad things did not, happiness would naturally follow. I believed that for most of my adult life, and it made me very dependent on things I could not control. I got married at 27. His name was Albert. He was a gentle man, thoughtful, careful with his words and with other people's feelings in a way that was rare. We had 2 children, a son named Thomas and a daughter named Rose. We had a quiet life, a good life, not dramatic, not extraordinary, just steady and warm and real. I was happy during those years, but I thought I was happy because of the circumstances, because Albert was there, because the children were healthy, because the house was full. I did not understand yet that I was also doing something, every day, without knowing it, that was creating that happiness from the inside. Then Albert got sick. He was 68. It came suddenly and moved quickly, and 14 months after the diagnosis, he was gone. And my world, the world I had built my happiness on, collapsed. I was 69 years old. I had been married for 42 years. I did not know who I was without him. I did not know how to be a person in the world without him beside me. I went through a period of darkness that I do not have full words for. Not depression exactly, something deeper, a kind of grief that lives in the bones, that changes the color of everything, that makes the most ordinary moments, a cup of tea, a bird outside the window, a Sunday morning, almost unbearably sad because they remind you of everything that is missing. I thought that darkness was going to be permanent. I thought, this is the end of happiness for me. This is what the rest of my life looks like, gray and quiet and full of absence. But slowly, very slowly, something began to happen, something I did not plan and did not expect. I started noticing things, small things, the way the light came through the kitchen window in the morning at a particular angle and made everything golden for about 15 minutes. The sound of rain on the roof at night, the smell of the garden after that rain, the weight of a good book in my hands, the particular comfort of a cup of tea made exactly right. These things had always been there, and I had just stopped seeing them. Grief had narrowed my vision so completely that all I could see was the absence of Albert. But the small, beautiful things, they kept showing up, quietly, patiently, like they were waiting for me to notice them again. And slowly I did. And that noticing, that practice of paying attention to the small things, that became the foundation of everything. That is the first reason I am still happy at 85. I became a world-class noticer of small things. I pay attention in a way that I never did when I was young and busy and always thinking about the next thing. I notice the color of the sky at 6 in the morning. I notice the particular way my cat stretches in a patch of sunlight. I notice when the bread comes out of the oven exactly right. I notice when a stranger smiles at me on the street. I notice when a song comes on the radio that I have not heard in 40 years, and suddenly I am 30 again, dancing in my kitchen. These things are not big. By every objective measure, they are completely ordinary, but they are mine, they are real, and they bring me genuine joy every single day. I have come to believe that happiness is not about the size of the moments. It is about your ability to actually be inside them, to be present, to let them land, to let a cup of tea be genuinely wonderful, instead of just something you drink while thinking about something else. The second reason I am happy is one that surprised me completely. I stopped trying to be happy. I know that sounds strange, but let me explain. For years, especially in the early years of my grief, I tried to be happy. I pushed myself to feel better. I told myself I should be grateful. I told myself things could be worse. I put pressure on myself to get over it faster, to be more positive, to look on the bright side. And that pressure made everything worse. Because when you are genuinely sad and you tell yourself you should not be sad, you end up with the sadness and the guilt about the sadness. Two painful things instead of one. What changed everything was when I stopped fighting my feelings and started simply sitting with them. When I let myself be sad without making it mean something terrible. When I let myself miss Albert without telling myself I should be over it by now. When I gave my heart permission to feel whatever it needed to feel, for as long as it needed to feel it, something unexpected happened. The feelings moved. When you stop fighting a feeling, when you just let it be there, it eventually moves. It does not disappear forever, but it moves, it shifts, and in the space it leaves behind, other things can come in, lighter things. The third reason I am happy is my people. I am deliberate about my people now in a way I never was when I was young. I do not have the energy for relationships that drain me. I do not have the time for conversations that feel like performances. I want real. I want genuine. I want people who sit with me and tell me true things and let me tell them true things back. I have a small circle, 3 close friends. My son Thomas, who calls every Sunday without fail. My daughter Rose, who visits every month and brings food and sits in my kitchen for hours and talks to me like I am a real person with real thoughts. Which sounds like a small thing, but is actually enormous. And my neighbor Vera, who knocks on my door sometimes just to sit together, no agenda, just company. These people, my small warm circle, they are some of the greatest sources of happiness in my life. Not because they entertain me, not because they solve my problems, just because they are there, just because they see me, just because they remind me that I am not alone in the world. When you are 85 and many of the people you loved are gone, being seen is everything. Being truly seen by even one person is one of the greatest gifts life can offer. The fourth reason is forgiveness. And I do not mean forgiving other people, although that matters too. I mean forgiving myself. I made mistakes as a mother, things I did not do well, ways I was not present when I should have been, ways I was impatient or critical or distracted. For years I carried guilt about those things. I replayed them. I judged myself, and that guilt was heavy. It sat in my chest like a stone. At some point, I cannot even tell you exactly when, I decided to put the stone down. I looked at the young woman I had been, exhausted, doing her best, knowing what she knew at the time, and I had compassion for her. She was trying. She was imperfect. She was human. I forgave her. I forgave myself. And the stone, the heavy, guilty stone I had carried for decades, dissolved, not all at once, but over time. and in its place came something lighter, something that felt almost like peace. Forgive yourself. Whatever you are carrying, whatever you did or did not do, whatever you got wrong, put the stone down. You have carried it long enough. The fifth reason is purpose. I still have purpose at 85. That surprises people. They think purpose belongs to the young and the productive. They think when you are old and slow and living quietly, you no longer have a meaningful contribution to make. They are wrong. My purpose is small and daily and completely mine. I write letters on real paper with a real pen. I write to my grandchildren. I write to old friends. I write to Thomas and Rose, even though I also speak to them, because there is something in a handwritten letter that a phone call cannot hold. I bake for my neighbors. I tend my small garden. I talk to people, really talk to them, when they come to visit. And sometimes I do what I am doing right now. I share what I know, what 85 years has taught me. Because I believe that experience, real lived experience, is one of the most valuable things one human being can offer another, and I have a lot of it. Purpose does not have to be grand. It does not have to be impressive. It just has to be yours. Find the thing that makes you feel like you are contributing something, however small, to the world around you, and do it every single day. The sixth reason, and this one is the one people find hardest to believe, is that I have made peace with death. I am 85. Death is not a distant, abstract thing for me. It is a neighbor. It is close. And for years that closeness frightened me. I would lie awake thinking about it, feeling the fear of it like a cold hand on my chest. But somewhere in these last few years, I made peace with it. Not because I want to die. I do not. I love being alive. Every ordinary morning is a gift I do not take lightly. But because I have started to see death not as the enemy of life, but as the thing that makes life meaningful. Every sunrise is beautiful partly because it does not last forever. Every conversation matters partly because we do not have infinite conversations. Every moment with the people I love is precious, partly because our time together is finite. The awareness of ending, when you stop fighting it and start sitting with it, it does not steal your joy. It deepens it. It makes the ordinary things luminous. It makes a cup of tea in the morning feel like a small miracle. Because it is. Because being here, being alive, being conscious, being able to feel the warmth of a cup in your hands, that is genuinely miraculous. And I do not want to spend whatever time I have left being afraid of the time running out. I want to spend it being grateful for the time I have. My name is Florence. I am 85 years old, and I am happy because I notice small things. Because I stopped fighting my feelings, because I chose my people carefully and loved them well, because I forgave myself, because I kept my purpose alive, and because I made peace with the only certainty any of us truly have. If this reached something in you, if something in my story touched something in yours, please share it. Send it to someone who needs to remember that happiness is still possible. That it does not require perfect circumstances, that it does not require youth or health or a life without loss. It just requires daily practice, daily attention, daily choice. You can be happy at any age, in any circumstances, in any season of life. I promise you that, because I am living proof. Thank you for spending this time with me today.